Hello my friends, and welcome to another episode of Antique Acquisitions. Today is our third and final mini episode where we'll take a look at the last bit of archival footage that was shot in the early 1940s. It will take us from the 18th and 19th century up to the present day. Well, at least it was the present day back in the 40s. It's mid-century to us now. Here we go.
Reviving interest in classical architecture abroad begins to find reflection in England. This new wave of stylistic invasion being closely associated with the work of Inigo Jones and Christopher Wren. As with the Norman invasion, English builders began to adapt the new ideas and forms to English climate and needs. Inigo Jones himself used Portland stone with great effect, but it was Christopher Wren who took over the classical designs and made them serve an essentially English style by making a new and refreshing use of such English building materials as red brick, Portland stone and slate, influencing British architecture for many years. The chief feature of building in the 18th century was the spacious dwellings designed for the landowning aristocracy with their amazingly rich interior decoration, carrying out the dictum that a true architectural work is a building duly provided with all necessary furniture, decorated with all due ornament, according to the use, quality and dignity of the building, from mere mouldings or abstract lines to the great epical work of sculpture and painting. Another feature of building at this time was the moulding of the adjoining countryside to provide a perfect landscape setting for the buildings. The sense of proportion which marks these great country houses can also be seen displayed in the layout and building of the town of Bath, the noblest domestic architecture in England, springing from the beds of pale buff limestone of the Cotswolds. Pleasing too is the Georgian house, marked by simplicity of design and perfect proportioning. The quickening spiritual impulse that inspired past triumphs died away. No new materials or methods of note were evolved, save perhaps the lovely Regency buildings of John Nash and his school. Of Nash it was said that he found London all brick and left it all plaster. Fresh impetus came to architecture from industry, from the builders of the railways, the bridges, and the factory. It was engineers who conceived the idea of using great ropes of iron to support spans greater than could ever have been built of stone. It was a greenhouse designer who pointed the way to building in glass and iron. It was a bit ahead of its time, for it was strongly urged on architects then that the only style proper for modern northern work is the northern Gothic of the 13th century. In this style, let us build the church, the palace, and the cottage, but chiefly let us use it for civil and domestic buildings. From Gothic, architects turned to Grecian. But it was the introduction of steel-framed buildings that enabled architecture to take a big stride forward. Newest material of all is reinforced concrete. Concrete had been known for centuries, but it cracked under strain. Nowadays, made with a core of metal rods, it is one of the strongest building materials on Earth and is used in new and exciting ways. The present-day massing of people in big cities demands large-scale building. With steel and concrete and glass, architects are designing to catch something that has lain forgotten for years: sun and light and air. There is room to breathe, room to move. There is strength in building, and design suited to building materials. Britain's moist, changeable climate makes severe demands on building materials, so many of our newest buildings are in brick. For brick is a great humanizer of buildings, whether they be for living in, for recreation, or for industrial purposes. With a wider selection of materials than ever before, with greater facilities for building, with the inspiration and help of past architectural glories, and with the accumulated knowledge of 19 centuries, the architect of today may yet begin an epoch of building triumphs worthy of England's glorious heritage.
Okay, my friends, that's the last bit of archival footage I have on that particular reel. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do hit the like button and subscribe to the channel because I've got a lot more history-related and antique-related content coming up in the near future, and I'd love for you to join me in that. And if you happen to be interested in bringing the past into your home or business through some antiques, please consider Old Europe Antique Home Furnishings. We'll see you next time.